Oops, it started. Oh, I gotta go to latch. There we go. Let's see, let's add something to this. Let's see, I should set these ranges down low so that it won't re-trigger. This. Now I can add something cool. Radioactive life. I made a mistake. Transport was... I have to have this go down low, so that way nothing challenge. There we go. Add this back down low. Let's see here. Oh, I see love flying on the display. Thank you, guys. Let's add something else to this. Maybe Treehouse Alive. Let's see if we add that to it. If we get... Get rid of some of the rhythm stuff. So let's go here. Drum kit. Mute. 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 You guys want a bonus patch? That sounds nice. I like that. Welcome. Let's get the camera on. Make sure my teeth are clean. Hello. Welcome to a live stream. Unlike any other live stream, my name is John Limcool. I own PluginGuru.com, and we make Unify, which is this plugin interface that I built this jamming composition to play with. Let's see, actually, let's do this. Let's set this up so that the drums are on low C. because you won't play down there because well, you can, but the midnight breakdown. You know what we could do is well, we keep it like that, so that way you know you don't go down to low C. That way I can have low C. Let's see, turn off the drums. Start the drums, and let's actually do this. Let's tell all the bass guys not to play down there. So we'll say start at C sharp. So the only layers would be layers 1 and 2 are playing low C. This is, and I've got MIDI latch and I've got the transport, so it's only looking to C1 and then nothing above that. So that way, that starts your groove. And there's some sort of a sound. Let me see. Let's do a little hunting. Who in here? Oh, it's this guy right here. It's MIDI box. Maybe we'll mute that. Because it's kind of, the timing of it is a little funny. It seems to be sometimes getting in the way of the groove. Nice. Okay, so how are you doing? Trimming the tree. Oh my gosh, what an interesting combination. Let me save this. What should we call this? Let's make this a nice cool bonus. How about Metro Forest? I like that. It's kind of got a modern vibe, and it's also got like it's all built on sounds with the environmental sounds in it. So Z, BPM split, Metro Forest. And let's say right here. In the live stream event on November 4th. Save as and save. Now I need to do something to the rain, because right now the rain, it's there, but it's super down low in pitch because we have a parameter in Guru Sampler turn on called pitched, and I could transpose it this way to take it up like 24 semitones, or actually it's like 36. Get me back to where it's supposed to be. I can do it that way. There's another way to do it. If I go over here and I say unpitched, now when I trigger, it no longer is listening to keyboard mapping for pitch. So wherever I played on the keyboard, it would play the original sample as it's supposed to. So I'm going to do that and save. And let's see. So this is one of those where like I need to let's click right here because that stops everything. Get the rain. I want to play with the tuning a little bit on the drum groove. I want it to be a little bit more cheery, so we're gonna go pitch. Play our groove. See, it sounds better. Versus. I think I had like there. And let's go to our EQ right here. This guy's, one nice thing with these two peak EQs is you have the whole frequency range. So I'm trying to find a certain frequency about right there. Just bring it up like maybe 3 dB. Now, if I wanted to take this, let's take it even farther, because this is what we do at the beginning of a live stream. We like get carried away programming for a little while. I'm gonna go to this groove, and not that sound, but that snare. I want that snare to have some ambience to it. So I'm gonna go to MIDI box, and right here's our range for what notes are allowed to be. There's this MIDI file with all these notes in it, right? For the tambourine and the kick and snare and everything. As you bring this up, you're limiting what notes it's allowed to pass out. So let's move down. There's the snare. So I bring this down. What note is it? There it is, F sharp 2. So that's exactly the notes that's being triggered, because I'm only letting F sharp 2 play. So I'm gonna go over here, and instead of including notes, I'm gonna exclude notes. So this does the opposite. Now that snare is gone. So I have the groove minus that snare. So all I have to do now is go over here and say duplicate this layer, and solo is duplicated when you do this, which is kind of cool. And I can now say include notes on the snare part. And if I go over here, I gotta do this little trick to stop everybody. Now when I play a note, this snare can now be sent to the auxiliary reverbs and all this kind of stuff. Maybe I want to like tailor this reverb a little bit, so let's get a little bit more delay. Okay. There. Maybe I want the snare to be snappier, a little bit snappier for that element. So I'm going to go to the dynamics, put an enforcer on it. And the enforcer doesn't do anything. This is a compressor until you define both a ratio and you bring down the threshold. Then you bring up the gain. There. Let's see. That sounds okay. Now, definitely sounds better. Here's without it. It's a little bit softer in shape, and it's softer because I've brought up the makeup of it and stuff like that. Now, how's the kick? Are we happy with the kick? It's kind of not very well defined, right? So let's go over here. There's the kick. It's kind of this woody sound, right? So let's do the same thing we did before. Let's take MIDI box and let's take down the top note until we hear just the kick, because kicks are always at the bottom of the keyboard. So there. The kick is isolated. So let's go exclude. And then I can say duplicate. love the thunder. Isn't that great? And let's do our little click over here so that it stops everybody. And now the kick, it's not there yet, right? Because I need to go to MIDI box and I need to invert this. Now I can bring this up and it doesn't bring up all the other parts. And let's also compress this just a little bit to give it a little bit better shape. So we'll say dynamics in Fossa. Bring this up, bring down the threshold. There we go. Now in the mix. Now, since this is a separate layer, I can also go here to the chorus tuning. I can work just on that sound to get to be a little bit more, less like a tree, or more like a kick. Okay, now we lost our little of our high end, so let's go here and so even though it's complex and it's built into this, you know, we've got multiple patches playing and stuff like that, you can still get to the separate components and pull them out if you want to, like we just did. So welcome all to the live stream. Okay, so this is Metro Forest. Let's save. Now, in order for this patch to work, you're going to need to own Signs of Life SE and Unify. That's all we're using. So let me reveal this in the Finder. Here's the patch. So I'm going to drag it over here. And I'm going to make it into something that you guys will be able to just drag over Unify. Actually, yeah, let's do it this way. So I make a folder called Libraries. And then we open this up and I need to look at this library. So I'm going to go into my Unify folder to Libraries, Signs of Life SE. I need to copy that name, make a new folder and name it that. Open this, make a folder called Patches, because this file needs to go into the Patches folder. And by me doing these steps and putting this in the Patches folder, now this, because this has libraries, this matches the libraries folder right here in Unify. So when I drag this over to the interface of Unify, anything that's in this folder, if I had a folder that's, you know, said presets, then I could have bonus additional presets that were put into here, because anything inside of the Unify folder, if I follow the hierarchy, then put files in there, it will put them in there for us automatically. So all I have to do is compress this. And then let's call this, this is the Z BPM split Metro Forest ORES bonus. And then at the end, where instead of zip, I say guru, small caps. And I say, yes, I want to use guru. And now it makes it into this file that Unify knows what to do with. It will unzip it and it will place this file into the libraries folder, into the Sons of Life SE folder, into the Patches folder. So it will follows the trail. It's like a really nice hound dog. So all I have to do, let me put this over here into, come over here, please. Okay, thank you. And let's go over here to Plugin Guru freebies. Let's see, make a folder, Signs of Life SE. And I'll put this in here. Copy the link, and here is the link, and I'll put it into our video description as well. bonus SE, Signs of Life SE patch. BPM split. Metro Forest. Right there. Save. Okay, so it's there. Free for those of you that own Signs of Life SE as a bonus patch to go along with all the other cool things that are in this library. I love this library. I should also point out we have about another week remaining until the 12th for the latest library release from Fred Nonga. This is a very creative, scary library where the interface is black. Oh, look, I called up Skippy. And for some reason, it's clicking on me. That's nice. And all these patches have built-in artwork. And Fred actually found a photo of me and put yours truly into the library. And this is actually a cool patch because you can use Aftertouch. Am I treating us to a cheeky Black Friday special on Unify libraries? You know I will, of course. By the way, there is a bonus coupon on my newsletter if you subscribe to my newsletter. If you don't, let me show you something here. Plugin Guru. First of all, if you go to my website, pluginguru.com, and down at the bottom, you can subscribe to the newsletter. Now, if you have subscribed in the past, got tired of me sending email to you each week because I communicate quite a bit. I don't do it as often as some sites, but I do let you know about every live stream that's going on and stuff like that. If you cancel the subscription, you can't resubscribe. You have to write to us, and then we have to go over to MailChimp and push some buttons and stuff like that to get it to work. But subscribe to the newsletter there, and that way you can get future newsletters. Now, let me show you real quick. If I go over here to Sir MailChimp, and I can show you the latest. I'll give you a link in the live stream so you guys can go see this, because I do have a coupon to give you a $10 bill. And you can't use it for Unify, and you can't use it on the Unlight, but you can use it on pretty much anything else. Let's see. View the email, view it in your browser. Here it is. This is the live stream announcement email. There's a promo. You can type in a promo code, and it will give you a $10 bill to spend at my website on any library you want. So please check out that newsletter if you would like to save $10. It's only for this weekend, only until Sunday night. Chance to save some money. And thank you to all of you that take advantage. But yes, Black Friday, we do fun things for Black Friday, of course. What BPM is this groove? This is that one groove was at 90. I slowed it down to 90 beats per minute. Anyway, the Unlight is on sale on its promotion price of only $23. It's a $39 library. This is a library for Diva. I might have said Dune in my email. Bad Skippy. Let me see something real quick. Nope, I didn't say anything. Good. But anyway, this is a library for Diva of very unique patches by Fred. Fred is a very creative designer. He's made Sands of Arrakis for Dune 3. This is a library for Diva, and it's really cool science fiction, weird scenes, creative sound design. We're past Halloween, but you can still use these at Christmas. Scare the kids in the morning when Santa shows up. You know, hey, Santa's coming. You know, maybe you're doing horror Christmas. I don't know. You know. Anyway, so why is Logic beeping at me? Let's see what's going on here. No, don't use my phone. Okay, so this library me show you where it is at the site. We have all sorts of stuff to show you guys today. My goodness. Anyway, the Unlight is right here. Okay, go away. And it is on its introductory price still of $23 for all these scary patches by Fred. Every patch has custom artwork. So you can see these really cool, you know, beautiful, just the most, it's actually really cool to call up patches. Fred loves to do this, and I really appreciate him being so diligent. It inspires me to do the same. But to have the Black Rider and then have it, you know, an image to look at in Unify's interface. Anytime you see an outline around the art box, in Signs of Life SE for all the environmentals, I have photos from Costa Rica. Here, Fred has these really cool patches. He actually created these just by typing in text, and Midjourney spits out these incredible images that are just very inspiring. Get down! Let's see here. Something better. You're welcome, Andy. Thank you for being here. Okay, so there's a whole bunch of new things that have come out this week. Every week, I tend to kind of keep an eye on what's out and what's coming out and so forth, and want to let you guys know. There's one I'm not showing in the live stream because I really don't need to buy something like this. It sounds very interesting. It's from the Crow Hill Company. They gave us the free piano with one sample and no velocity control. I was kind of like, but they have something new, and it's strings that won't behave. It's called String Murmurations, and it's from the crowhillcompany.com, which is Christian Henson's new company offshoot. It's not affiliated, as far as I can tell, with Spitfire Audio. However, this is a library that's really interesting. It's strings sections. It seems like you play the whole string section on one patch. So we don't plan to unify it just so that you can get the violins and violas and cellos and basses like inside of the BBC library we did for Discover Station. But it does things where you're playing and then it's adding additional notes. I think you can turn it off. I don't know. But it's on introductory price of $149. So they went from a free download to a nice priced, you know, that's a good strategy to do the free first, get lots of people to know about you, and then hit them upside the head with something. So this is a string section. Watch the video. There's more details, more information will probably come out. There's just a single video from Christian. But it's interesting if you're into, I'm concerned because I play certain chords, and if something's not analyzing what you're playing properly and it just starts adding thirds and fifths and so forth, it's going to sound bad in certain chord situations. So you have to kind of work around it. But this is kind of a thing where you play chords and then additional things happen. There's also some really cool granular. It does more than that. That's not all it does. But check that. I'm not showing that today, but that came out just a couple of days ago. I think yesterday. But I if they were to send me an NFR of this, I would play it and show it for you. But I have not received a reply back that they want to have me show it to you. So I don't need that particular type of a library for what I'm doing. So I didn't spend $200 right now. Now, there is a plugin that I really like, and I use it for mastering of demo songs. I've used it in sampling for just really optimizing audio. I really am impressed with it. And it's from Cradle. And let's do this. Let's go to like one of these back to the 80s or something like that, that Bob Dedes has done. I love these. So we go here to, let's see, get to the top here. These sequences. Let's go to something like, well, let me find one I want to work with. There we go. So we're using Loudmax. Here, let's do this. Let's copy this chain. And And let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of all this stuff. He's got chow tape model. This is what it sounds like without that mastering chain. And then Cradle has a thing called the God Particle. I mean, talk about like, you know, wow, okay. You've released a plugin and you're putting God in the name of it. But it does sound incredibly good. Listen to that. Here's without it. It just brings up the right frequencies. You can tailor it a little bit. You've got feedback visual for whether the low end and the high end, the mid are kind of like hitting what they think makes a good mix. It tends to have a limiter that's aggressive at 5. I tend to turn it down a little bit, but you can control the hype, right? So that sounds like a really great mix. I mean, from this, and I could bring down the output so it's a little bit. Hear how it's just emphasizing the right frequencies. It's great. So I bought this a while back. It's made by a producer and a mixing guy that has done the list of albums and songs he has done. If you follow and do a little research on the God Particle, it's legit. A lot of people have bought this and tested it and done videos on it and so forth, and they're like, wow, it's really cool. That company, Cradle, I don't know if it's his company or else if he was just affiliated for making that plugin. I don't know the whole story, but they released this week 3 instrument plugins. And so that's where we're going to start, is with what they call the state machine. And there's 3 different ones. There's Faded Keys, which is for their keyboard related type of patches. Then there's Slow Drift, which is for like pads and so forth, and Low End Machine. Now, there are some drawbacks. I'm going to show you the whole thing with these, but they're $39 each. If you want, you can get all 3 of them and save even more and get $89 for all 3. It's about almost 6 gigabytes worth of samples. It's basically sample players. There are a few things in there I can show you beyond that. So let's say init. Anyway, so when you go to the app, the website is cradle.app. What you do is this. You can do the try it free for 14 days and then download the Mac OS version. And what they do is they have an application that you can install the God Particle. They have a number of other products that they've got. The Spirit, which is another thing, the Prince, which is another synthesizer that's interesting. These things and the God Particle. So you can download and try all these for 14 days for free before you need to buy it. So you can try them out and see if they work for you. So it's a no-brainer just to download them and try them out because they are really nice in many cases. So if we go up here and we type Cradle, we get, let's call it Faded Keys first. So here is the interface. And I believe right here I could change the interface size. I have it 125 for this. I didn't keep it this way for all of them, but anyway. They're nice sounds. The sounds go. There's an ARP in it. Since this is keyboard oriented, it's mostly it's sampled stacks and so forth. Now, one of the bigger drawbacks to me is that it's playing mono on a note, which means if you play a hard velocity and a soft, well, there's very little velocity to this. If you go over here to edit and you go to the amp and you set velocity to 100%. Now you can really tell when you play hard and play soft, it cancels the previous note, which for keyboard players is a no-no. Any acoustic instrument you play another note, and it lets the other note continue to ring out. So if you play it in certain ways, you will notice it. For a lot of people don't notice, and it's not a big deal. So you need, again, download, try these out for yourself. As you can see, there's an interface here for home to have the interface and the different categories, and you can click here for favorites and see the patch list and stuff. The synth parameters are here. There's an LFO, there's a filter. The source settings here, but right here's where you choose from the actual oscillator type that you want it to be for layer A or B. They have 103 different possible sample sets inside of here, right? They have different characteristics. And then you can mix between the two. So you can be from... But let's see here. How do I get this to close? Just click out of here. On velocity, it's especially noticeable. That is just a single channel of audio. So that drives me crazy a little bit, especially for keyboards and pads. For basses, it's mono and it doesn't matter so much. But for the keyboard things, I wish it was polyphonic. That's maybe the biggest gripe that I personally have with these, but it's a $39 library that sounds great. So if you're playing it, yeah, of course we call. If you're playing it that way in a track, it's fine. You're not gonna, it's not an issue. It's just, they did a very nice job on the programming. Again, there's a knob right here. So it's very easy to just change the layers, work with it that way. You have parameter controls here for the MIDI effects, if there's chords. As you can see, you have different chords. So you can turn these options on and off. Arpeggiator you can turn on. And so for $39, it's kind of a no-brainer just because if you need new sounds, again, everybody's different and in a different place. If you have these sounds covered, I believe it's very CPU friendly. Right? Cool sounds. Crushed upright. If you don't want as much crushed upright, just move the mix. And I'll talk to Shane, see if we can figure out if we can unify these. We haven't unified them yet, but there's 3 of these. So this is the faded keys. Right? This one really matches the patch name. I mean, faded keys, and it's lots of cool lo-fi. That kind of stuff, you know, very easy for doing that type of. Nice. Good stuff. The other two that they have, there's low end. So let's go Cradle and say low end. And yeah, we have some low end. Water Buffalo. One thing that was a disappointment is the mod wheel. Doesn't do anything. It should do pitch LFO. I don't even know if they have the hooks in here. There's certain things a traditional keyboard player expects. And a lot of people these days don't use synthesizers in the way that a traditional keyboard player does. So they wouldn't ever think of putting something to the modulation wheel because they never use the modulation wheel because their keyboard controller doesn't have a modulation wheel. So a lot of these things, maybe they will add this. That would be nice to have the mod wheel give me pitch alpha. I can. But it's not inside of it to start with. So that was my other complaint. Otherwise, great stuff. Great samples. Right? So this is your bass. And it's the same concept. You have two different sounds. And you can mix between them. I don't think they have any controllers. I don't know. Well, let's do this. Unify can tell us, right? So if we go over here to the macro knobs and we call these up and we hit plus, this is called going under the hood. And yes, okay, we have access to all of these parameters for layer A and B for cutoff, separate for each layer, which is nice because you can see here's filter cutoff for layer A, here's filter cutoff for layer B. So check this out. We could say layer A here. And then if I hold down Control and Shift, I can copy macro 1 and then just hold down Shift and paste. And then I'm going to go over here and instead of A, I'm going to type B and boom. I love Unify that it's text-based for assignments. I could have also gone over here and said replace and gone through the whole step of going over here and finding it, but I just knew it was layer B for cutoff. And if I was to make another where it said Bit Crusher Mix, and so let's say duplicate this, check this out. And if I double click here and where it says the name, if I spell it right, and if I say Bit Crusher Mix, nope, I didn't spell it right. How am I supposed to spell it right? Replace. Bit Crusher, no large C. Okay, so I used a large cap C. That's what I wasn't sure of. Boom. Now I have Bit Crusher Mix. So you can assign any assignments just by typing them in if you want. But now I have, and so I can. Synth, do they have the filters even turned on? Well, they have velocity sensitivity maxed, so. So yeah, I'm changing this, see the yellow, and this is changing the red. So. And if you're not hearing it, it's because the samples themselves don't have a lot of high end. This is a case where they created patches, and a lot of times it'd be a dark patch, and then they just sample it. I like to sample sounds as bright as I can make it, and then I will use filtering later to make it darker. But some of these libraries, they will sample things at the way it is, and you can't make something brighter if there's not content there. Anyway, so that is the second of the two plugins. The third plugin is one that's called the Slow Drift. And this is supposed to be more like pads, interesting other kind of sounds. Just go to pads. They're getting more into the programming parameters with the LFOs and so forth. They weren't the kind of sounds I was expecting. When I hear slow drift, I want to hear really cool, slow, evocative things like I did in Dream State, where, you know, you call up these things and it's just like, this is slow drift. Or, you know, you save me. So I did slow drift better than they did. But it's still a cool, interesting plugin for some of you guys if you want. I don't know. This was the weakest of the three to me. It didn't seem like they really connected with the concept of the name. It gets there. This is one of those where it should have had more effects. You know, there's things you do in programming to get a certain vibe conveyed. It's not that they're bad sounds. It's just trying to marry to the name Slow Drift kind of puts a certain picture in your head, right? Like a raft, alone on the ocean, sun is setting, you know, I mean, that type of thing. So Cheap Pluckers doesn't, or circling transvestites. Okay. Travesties. So what's a travesties? Travesties. I don't even know what a travesties is. So they're interesting sounds. It's not necessarily slow drift. Slow drift is like pads to me. This should be the pad library where you have between Dream State and you have MegaMagic pads kind of things, where it's just all these really cool pads. There's nothing anywhere close to this in this plugin. You know, pastoral warmth for sad days. That's the vibe I wanted to find, and I didn't find any patches in Slow Drift that get into that territory. That's not slow drift. So that sort of is. Here, let's make a slow drift patch. I'll show you what we can do. So let's go to the synth. Here's A. So the enveloping should be a little bit more like this. And then a little bit of long decay to a sustained down point. Let's have even slower filtering. Then go to the audio effects. Turn on the delay. Should be like not at 16th note. What are you talking about? You need to be like quarter note, half note. Now you're getting more into slow drift territory. And then go to like the layer B. Now there's a distortion. It has some bit resolution. Where is this sample rate? got this sample rate thing. But anyway, thank you, Andy. Anyway, you can get there. This is far more interesting. This is slow tilt, you know, slow drift. But there's not a single patch that I found that conveys this vibe. So that's disappointing. They could be, but again, let's slow everything down. And again, this is where maybe they didn't do this so much because of this retriggering of the notes, because you really start to notice it if it's slow. When you play new notes, you really notice that problem. So they should have fixed that in the software before they released this, but they didn't. Anyway, those 3 plugins are available. So Cradle.audio, and again, the God Particle is just wonderful. Oh, my mama's calling me. Hi, Mama.
Time?
I'm in the middle of my live stream, so say hi to everybody.
Hi. Okay, well, call us when you finish your live stream, and have a wonderful day, everybody.
Okay.
Buy John's stuff. It's really cool.
Love you, Mama. Bye. Oh my gosh. Hi, Mom. Yes. So I'm going to be moving in the spring to Idaho so I can be closer to my mom and dad, because I love them dearly and I miss them. And it's 7 hours away from where I am now. I'm going to rent my house here in Portland and then live closer to them. So it's very sweet. I love them very much. Anyway, so these 3 plugins are available. Make sure you play with the God Particle. It's a stupid name for a plugin, but it's a really cool plugin. I would never name a plugin that, but hey, you know. Anyway, so another plugin to show you guys from another company. This is a little bit different direction. This is called Freezer. Let's do this with drums first, because it's really good for glitchy drum kind of effects. So let's do this. Let's go back to the 80s and let's do some like cool, hip, glitchy grooves. Okay, let's call up Freezer. Now, Freezer is by Audio Modern. It's a bit glitching plugin type of a concept. It does some cool things. So I'll show you a little bit about it here. It's available audiomodern.com. I believe it's only 19 pounds. Sorry, 19 euro at this introductory price right now. And what it does is that when you hit play, oh, I need to do this. When you call this up inside of UniFi, make sure you hit mute on MIDI, because it has a MIDI mode that can like have keys triggering to change whether it's 2, 3, 4 repeats and so forth. It seems to be listening all the time, whether you change it to this mode or not. And since UniFi passes automatically MIDI data to audio effects, there's some audio effects, not a lot, but there's some that they listen to MIDI to do things. There's a reverb called Comet that does it as well. But anyway, this is basically something where it's playing, right? And if I set all these up to 2, oh, let's do this. Let's be mono. And if I say, let's set one to 4, 45. So you see where this is going. You can do. So you can take, and what's cool is there's a mix. So there's certain of these effects that do this to audio. You know how you can take an audio, I think Ableton Live is very famous for their beat stepper and so forth. And that's 100% because it's actually changing and chopping up the pieces. This is an audio effect, which means you can like set it to a percentage. You've got filtering you can use. You've got gate and smooth times and so forth. So you can make it do really crazy things. The other thing I guess Audio Modern does on other plugins is they have this infinity, which when you turn this on, each time you play, it's going to randomize all the parameters. So each time it goes through, it's going to randomize it. But what's cool again is you can set it to 50%. So now it becomes like really cool, just incidental stuff. And once it hits something where it's like it's doing, I think there's a couple things up here for randomizing. Activated a new sequence is generated, whether using random. This is the random button. I really like that they have this lightning button. So you can be playing, let's turn off infinity. So we've got this groove, right, that we like. Right? And this is working for our song. When you hit lightning, it's going to randomize. And then when you let up on lightning, it goes back to the original settings that it was at. So let's say we make this pattern, then hit lightning, and then let up on lightning. You can revert back to the original. Personally, for me, I wish it would have gone further and had like filter available as a graph, so that you could change that, because having filter up here, doing all this kind of stuff, can't do it. I want to have that kind of stuff going on. So it only goes to about first base. So it could do so much. There's so much more they could have done with this. But it's an inexpensive plugin. It does what it says it's supposed to do, and it's interesting. Now, as Bob said, he said he'd use it on plucky sounds. So let's try this on a plucky sound. Let's go MegaMagic harp, like a BPM. Let's see. I've got these phrases. Let's go to a BPM pad. Let's see. I have these phrases somewhere. Where's the phrases? Here we go. So let's take like a phrase for a song, right? And then right click on the master output and say freezer. And let's make sure that we've turned off MIDI. And then random. Oh, I didn't show you mono versus stereo. So let's see, let me turn off the helper tools. Show the info panel. They have all sorts of information here. Settings, tooltips off. There we go. So now it doesn't do that. So mono means that it sends left and right to the same. Right? If you want, you can make it stereo, which means it's different for the left side and the right. So you can have one side that's doing 2 the whole time. So you can have them synchronize. And then other times where they're like doing You know, stuff like that. So anything percussive-y, and again, it can be a mix of percent. So, right? And if I wanted to, let's do this. Let's go to Freezer and let's go Operations, copy plugin state, get rid of it. And let's put it right here for easier. And then let's go over here and say Operations, paste plugin state. And then I'm going to put this before, because I'm just click and drag. I'm going to put, let's see, let's bypass the reverbs for the moment. Let's get rid of this one. Actually, let's just change this to be Omega delay. MEGA delay. Oh, it's listening to MIDI again. All right, now let's go over here and say paste state Operations. Paste state. Oh, it lost it. Well, just click like a fanatic, actually just randomize and bring up complexity to be a little bit more complex. They have a range control. So if you want it, let's say like to 4, let's say 5. So what you could do now is you could go to a macro knob inside of Unify. Let's go to one that's not assigned. And let's say this is Freezer and a percentage sign, right click. All you have to do is hit the guru ear, open up Freezer, and move this parameter, and it grabbed it. So now I have this knob set up so that I could go from no freezer to freezer. And then I could do another knob next to it. That was the wet dry mix. We could maybe do filtering. So I want to play with that filter cutoff. So we could go over here, hit guru ear right here just on the control. We don't even have to go into the editor and just move the filter cutoff. And now it's assigned. So there's none. It's that easy to work with. It's nice. It's a nice effect. So again, that's Audio Modern. They have Freezer, and it's also available for the iPad, which is cool. So there you go. Now, this is a final day of this one available. I finally got this to work, and I figured out how to get it to work. This is called Pumpkin. This is a saturation plugin. We could actually use this on this. Over here called Pumpkin. I will warn you, it's like a 400 megabyte audio effect. So I wasn't really impressed with that side of it. I also, when it installed, it didn't give me any presets. So I can't try different presets to see how it works. The installer didn't install properly. So I don't know what all it can do, but it's a free effect you can get from the guys at Acoustica Audio. The link to get this is here. I'll put this into the description of just into the chat, because this goes away tonight for being free. it's one of these things where, let's see here. This is the link to get here's your claim link. Copy. Oh, there are no presets. Okay. Yeah, it needs presets. It's free, so you know. But what you do is you go claim pumpkin, comes down here, and you put in your credentials and you join, and then below that, I thought it'd be at the top of the page, but right in here you get a code. So you copy that code. You have to download their Aquarius installer. I'm not going to show you. It's just, and then you have to go to settings to find the activation tab to put in the code that you get. It's a lot of work to get a saturation plugin. And one that has no presets and takes up 440 megabytes of memory. Just be aware of that. But it's free. And we all love free. Our eyes just glaze over when somebody says something is free. Any plans to unify the, we probably won't unify the patches, but you can. I want to, it's one of these things. We've unified lots of plugin libraries, right? You can go to the Unified Libraries page on our website, and there's 80 some, I think we're up to 90 now. So if you go to Plugin Guru's website, hit Unify, go down the page, you will find all of these plugins we have unified the patches for. If you own something that isn't on this list, it is a piece of cake to unify the patches. It's really easy. For example, let me see here. I got to be careful because I have some things I am working on you're not supposed to know about. So let me look real quick and find a plugin. Let's see here. Like Imagine. We haven't unified Imagine from Expressive E. This is the engine that comes with, I believe this is similar to what's in Osmos. And there's some cool patches, right? Now, we haven't unified this. Now, if you wanted to unify this, I would suggest a couple things. Go here to the Master Effects, replace from layer, Master Presets, the Optimizer Light. Here's without it. With it, there's a little bit more presence. And you have you got our full parametric with shelving, EQ, as well as a compressor, which isn't hardly doing anything, and loud max to control the output so it doesn't distort. But you don't even have to do that. All you have to do is go save, and I'm going to create a new library. So you say new library, and this is my, I don't remember the name of this company. That's Imagine Patches I love. Confirm. This is how you make a new library. And then this is this really cool, I don't even know, I'm not even going to look at the name of it. This is this cool Tonga ARP, right? I don't even have to name it the proper name. It doesn't matter what you want to name it. You can name it whatever the heck you want. And then go to another patch. And let's say ambient strums. So save this, go up here, I like that, ambient strums. Okay, save it to the same library, save as, save. I have now made a unified library that shows up here. Let's see, where is this at? This is in the library, My Imagine. Oh, so it should be right here. My Imagine Patches I love. So here's my Tonga. And I could go here and I could say Unify Layer and click Ambient Strums and put them together. You can unify the patches to anything. You don't have to wait for us to do it, okay? So it's very easy to save any patch from any plugin that you love. You could even make just a folder that says, John's favorite patches, and put your favorite patches from any plugins that you have in there as a saved. A Unify patch that's saved is now available for being layered and stuff. So you don't have to wait for us to unify something in order to call up your favorite patches. We go to extra extent and all that kind of stuff. I mean, if I'm unifying a library, what I do is I'll say, usually macro 1, I don't assign anything. This is the mod wheel. So whatever the mod wheel does, sometimes it doesn't do anything, stuff like that. John's favorite patches. Well, use your own name. Don't use my name. Number 2, let's go over here and go to inside of the wrapper, and we can look at all of the parameters that are here. Instrument 1 expression. So I would call this expression, and I would just set up my macro controls, right? And you can do it that way. You can also do it where you open up this controller and you call up the interface. And let's say that's doing something cool. So I can go, give me the guru ear and move this. Let's have this be timbre. So I'm just going to turn on the guru ear. And I'm going to move all of these, hit the ear again, hit the guru ear again for timbre. Okay. So I would just keep doing this. So I got, this is timbre. And now if I wanted to take this into a unified state, what I would do is I would go to the auxiliary effects tab. I would add some sort of cool reverb or something like that. I like to use the hall. The Dragonfly hall is really nice. And let's call that auxiliary reverb, AUX reverb, RVB. And right click, go up here. And what I do a lot of times when it's a Unify, like an auxiliary bus, I will set this to the max. And then I use this button right here, which says from 0 to the current value. So now I can go over here to instrument 1, auxiliary send number 1, and it will stop the maximum value at what this current value is. Because if I have this where I just use the default, which is to go minimum to max, when it's like this, it's going to be so loud, it's going to distort my output. It doesn't sound good. The other thing you can do that's really bitchin' with Unify is if you click right here and drag, you can hear the result and see the result. So I could set this to where it's tickling the output just right, and then have that be my max. Okay, so now I'm going to hold down Option and Save for my Tonga ARP. And then watch this. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to say copy all macro definitions. And I'm going to go to ambient strums. Oh, wait. No, I don't want to be in Unify layer. I need to go like this. Ambient strums. So. And I can say paste all macro definitions. And those same knobs that I set up for the first patch work for this patch. So that's all we do is I set up a template, and then I actually have a patch, a program that Shane created that you can find through the GitHub of Shane's stuff called Patch Reformer, where you can actually check this out. This is the coolest thing. You can give it a target patch. Say you have 500 patches you want to unify, and you do the knob assignments to one patch, and then you use that one patch as the target. Drag all 499 other patches. I click update in layer 1 to be the instrument name equals the patch name. And it will put the knob assignments and the auxiliary assignments and the master effect assignments, everything from this one patch. Like, so check this out. So let's go to ambient strums. I'm going to make 2 more patches. So let's say we go, oh wait, is this? Oops. I'm not in Unify layers. Sounds similar. Angry Groove Box. So let's go save. Now you have to be careful with that patch reformer program because it's really something you should leave it to the professionals. But it is available to find on GitHub if you want to have this to work with. Asteroids. Asteroids. A-S-T-R-O-I-D-S. Now, as you can see, these patches that I've just created, they don't have any macro assignments. They don't have the auxiliary bus. Only Tonga ARP is the only one, right? All these other guys don't have that. So if I go over here to Unify and we go to the libraries tab and we go to this My Imagine patches and we call up Patch Reformer and we go here to the patches. And so we do a couple things. First of all, click. Now, if you want, you can preserve MIDI effects or instrument auxiliary, instrument one audio effects. So like if you have audio effects on different patches that you've programmed up that you don't want them to get overwritten, because otherwise it will just blast everything to be a template of whatever you do as the master patch. I'm going to just let it blast through everything. So I'm going to go over here and say reference patch and go to Unify. Well, here, I can actually I'm halfway there. So libraries, My Imagine patches, and Tonga ARP is the one that has all the knob assignments, auxiliary bus, master effects, everything set. So I can go over here. I can say everybody else, click and drag them over here. Boom. 3 files processed. And just like that, I now have all these patches that have auxiliary effects, master effects, the knob assignments. So this is what I do to the patches to unify something. Go to Angry Groove Box. Right? It's all there. And the layer matches the name of the patch. So that's the tools that I mean, and I've worked on so many synthesizers for hardware companies and stuff that have minimal to none of these types of tools. And it's so nice to be able to go, Shane, I need a tool that can do this. And Shane will turn around, figure it out, and help us get something that can quickly, you could do this and like unify 500 patches in 1 second. It's just awesome. Awesome. We're very, very lucky. So if you want to unify a library that we haven't unified, it's actually go to our forums at forums.pluginguru.com because there's documentation there, especially if you're on the PC. There's much better automation tools for automating this process. So you just set it up and then it will actually save the patch, import tags, import comments. In some cases, it's crazy what the guys that have done this. A lot of these unified libraries, I have not done anything other than do the knob assignments and then use Patch Reformer to replicate that to all the patches in a certain library. But that's how we're able to get, Shane said, oh, and I just did Black Cat or the Octave Cat. So last week in 30 minutes before the live stream, I unified the library by doing knob assignments, putting up auxiliary effects, and then using Patch Reformer to lock down all the patches to have. So you've got all these controls, and they're the same for every patch in the library. Which is really cool, by the way. If you go in and want to make layers, once you've got a unified library, start using the instrument one only, because what this does, each patch, as you can see, has the instrument layer, 2 auxiliary buses, and the master effects. And you don't need all that. That's kind of overkill to do the Unify layer thing. Unify layer is great if it's more complex, or else if there's more layers, or else if there's other things you want to do with it. But what's cool with this, if I'm going to be loading patches from the same plugin, and they've been unified, so I have all these knobs are set up only to instrument layer 1, right? See, it says just layer 1. But if I say instrument layer only, and I like click, let's say 3 other basses. Let's say like 3 basses. We got a nice big. Well, these knobs are still set to only knob 1. But I have 3 layers of Octave Cat. It sure be nice. I said this to Shane, in fact. I said, it'd sure be nice if I layered 3 of the same plugin that had knob assignments. I wish I had something that would just, boom, give me those knob assignments to all 3 layers. And that's where we got in the latest update, this option right here. Duplicate links to all layers. Click that. And if it sees that it's Octave Cat for the other layers and it matches, then boom, it will automatically do all the layer assignments. So now all these son of a guns are together. So I'm now working with this as if it's a single patch, even though it's now 3 layers. So I'm changing the resonance and the filter cutoff to all 3 at once. If I was to add another patch to this, let's go to like thin brass. Okay, right now filter cutoff isn't working on it. Right? Well, just go back over here, say, hey, duplicate the links again. Now it is. So thank you, Shane. I don't know if he's here in this stream or not. Let's see. Any questions? While we're at it, if you have any questions, we've got a few minutes left in the live stream. There's another freebie. I know another freebie to tell you guys about. This is, let's see, it's called Bass. Let's see here. Air Music Tech. Let's see if I can find this for you. Right to there, down to the bottom of this. It's under this link, airmusictech.com/black-friday.html. It is a single oscillator analog style synth called Bassline. It's free. Native Instruments also, they have some things for free. They've got Ozone. Let me see something. If I go to my... This has been very confusing to me. Because Native Instruments, they're promoting they've started their holiday sale, so everything of theirs is 50% off. So you can update to Complete 14 at 50% off right now. Things like that. By the way, I will do a Black Friday, but not until pretty close to Black Friday. Actually, a little bit before, but this whole Black November and weeks, I don't do that kind of stuff. Let's see here. Yeah. Where is it? Not installed. Is it still? It supposedly takes a while. Yeah, so this is so confusing to me. So you can find a page where you can add Ozone 11 as an equalizer, and you're supposed to add it from native access, but it says add library, which when I click, it's asking me to browse to find the equalizer location. It's funny. So I'm not going to tell you guys. If you go to the Native Instruments site, you'll be hearing about how to get Ozone's EQ for Ozone 11. But I have not been able to get that to work. Over here, Bassline. It's okay. 150 patches. You know, we have so many patches that do a lot of these things. I like that there's a certain in-your-face to this because of these other parameters that it has. It has this hype and compressor. Without them, it sounds like everything else. And if you go to the effects, yeah, output at 24 dB, that will definitely. You know? Nice filter. It's got boost, fifths. It does this segue between different shapes. Its delay is interesting in that it's only a high-pass filter delay here. And then it has a really cool resonant in the feedback loop. So you can get some cool tonality out of it. Sounds kind of chorusy. That's thanks to the chorus. Without it, so I think it's cool. We don't have unified patches for it at this point, but maybe we will. If you guys want to, somebody wants to volunteer to do so. When it comes to unifying libraries, make sure you check with the forums that somebody else hasn't said they are doing. Here at forums.pluginguru.com, there's an area down here talking about unifying patches and making unified patch libraries and audio hotkeys and all sorts of things here to talk about. So check that out, please, if you want to get into that kind of stuff. All right. I think that, it's a new version of you have to. I'm using the latest version of Access, I thought. In native. Well, I'll check after the live stream, but normally native Access pops up and says you need to update when it's time to update. Ever thought of jazzier drum patches? Hi, Christopher. Yeah, I've thought about that. I just haven't done a sampling session with those types of things. Oh, I was going to tell you guys what's coming next. I haven't told you what's coming next. So it's black now. Don't you find there are too many synths that have? Yeah, you know, I'm kind of guilty of telling you guys about all of the plugins that come out, but that doesn't mean you need to own them. And the other thing that I think is important is you can determine. It's nice inside of Unify is you can go to this list and weed it down. You could say, in fact, one thing I recommend some people do is go up here and say clear list, which is crazy because I'm going to delete all of my plugins, except for the ones that are built in that are Unify, right? But check this out. You can go to your folder of plugins. Let's say to my VST folder. And I have 335 plugins in here. But let's say I'm just going to work with Absinthe 5. And I want the ARP Odyssey because I think that's kind of fun to play with. And I want maybe the BBC Orchestra because I want to play with some strings for some things for this film I'm doing. Or, you know, you can do this to choose what plugins. And let's say I love Crystalline and the CS80 and drag these over the interface of Unify. And it will scan only those plugins that you drag into Unify. And that will give you the ability to set up and limit what you see. The other way to limit what you see is to do a subset. And let me show you about that stuff once it's done scanning. So it's scanning the 5 plugins that I put in there. So if I say close, and now when I go over here to my swap all instruments, it's only a handful, like the ARP Odysseys here. And so forth. The other thing is to do it as a subset. So that is where you click this button here, and you could go to the instruments and you could say new subset. Oh wait, I clicked my button too many times. So let's say delete that subset. Here, rename this subset. New film October. It's November now, so November 23, right? And then I can click this, and then I could say I only want the ARP Odyssey, and I want DX. Oh wait, DX. Hold down, I think it's Command key, and Absinthe 5 and Symphony Orchestra, and say add selected and save. And now when I close this, I now have this new film 2023, and I can have a list of just the specific set of plugins I want to have access to. So you can limit yourself inside Unify, even when you have access to every plugin. If you were to go down here to swap all instruments and it shows you hundreds and hundreds of plugins, these subsets up here are a really useful way to kind of curtail, you know, what you have access to in your database of plugins. So, you know, we thought a lot about these types of things and how people might want to try to limit your scope to work with. There's ways to do that if you really want to do that, okay? So there's things like that to work with. As far as drums, I have a really crazy library that I'm going to release next year. It's taken a lot of work because it's really weird sounds. I went to a parking garage for a couple nights, actually about a year ago, at like 2 in the morning, and recorded drums with my field recorder in this huge parking garage. And then I recorded those same drums in a studio dry. And so you'll be able to go from the dry to these huge, just unbelievably cool sounds. But I'm waiting for a few things to come into place that we're working on with Unify, so forth, for future things. So that's in the works. Now, what we're going to be bringing out, I will tell you this will be coming out for Black Friday. So I'm showing you something a little ahead of time, is a new version of Creature-esque. At the moment, I'm going to call it Creature-esque 2. It's going to have all the really cool, let's say just normal. So we have all the beautiful Creature-esque sounds from Omnisphere. So this is a friend of mine, Kathy Talbot. I can't wait for you guys to meet her. We're going to have her on a live stream when this library comes out. She is incredibly talented. When computers were able to record audio for the first time in the 90s, 89, 90, 90, Kathy was the first singer I worked with, and we wrote songs together. I have an album on Spotify. If you look for Real Cool, you can find my music, and there's a song called Learning to Love by Kathy Talbot. That is the first song I ever recorded into a computer in the 90s, and I think that was with Cubase back then. I can't remember what I used. Or no, maybe it would have been Logic, because that was when, well, I can't remember. Yeah, I think it was Logic, because Logic, I've been using Logic for a long time on the Mac and before that. Anyway, she's gone from that to where she does cinematic film trailers, and she is incredibly talented and does these things. When I play them for you, your jaw's gonna drop. Her trailer music work was just used in American Horror Stories, campaigns, big films, stuff like that. She's super talented. And so for the new library, I've got some new things we've been creating with her. These types of things. And I'll show you later on when we get closer to the time of. Really cool vocal stuff. I'm going to do some crazy programming with this. The other thing that's really fun that I did for the original version of this library was she sang a lot of things in Latin with the intervals and so forth. And then I used Melodyne to remove the pitch. So you end up with things in Latin. Those are supposed to be different pitches, but I squashed it all to be the same pitch. So you have these things that really, really, really cool. Especially when you start layering a couple of these. Like that, and this. So there's all sorts of other things that will be sampled that will be included in this library. It's going to be really, really cool. Thank you, Andy. I have a fun time showing you guys all sorts of new things and stuff. It's very fun. So this is in the works. There's phrases, there's drum phrases, there's distorted screams. There's cool. That's early stuff we're working on, but so it's going to be a vocal library, great for Christmas. It's supposed to be kind of horror, but we're also doing positivity. So it's going to be like darkness and lightness in the same library. Be very inspiring and vocal based. So that's coming up into this month. So when other Black Friday specials for my site start, we'll have this library available for you guys as well. Sounds great. It's a great library. There's other sounds in here. I might keep like Athena, my dog. She did some talking. Let's see, are these in here? These are all the original samples. The talking, we're not going to keep the talking and stuff. Those are from the Omnisphere version. We're not going to keep the phrases, but here's these phrases here. Let's see, Latin. Here's the phrases originally. I'll show you a really cool example. Like, so here's Deity O Prince, and so say they fangs. Right? And then I took this and kept it so it doesn't go down to the third. And if you filter this, just get this really cool bubbling effect. Let's have it do a little bit of filter cutoff. This kind of stuff. Then you add like the ooze in heaven on top of that. Take this up an octave. Just beautiful, beautiful stuff. It's gonna be really nice. All right. Yeah, remembering Emu. Yeah, Emu did that type of stuff. Yeah. And I have all sorts of really cool wave sequencing, chopping of these different vocals because we have ahs and oohs and ohs and all that stuff chopped and doing all sorts of stuff. It's going to be really fun. Very warming to the heart. Yes, exactly. So, all right. Any other questions? Remember, you can reach out to email us at unifysupport@pluginguru.com if you have any questions. And And I'll tell you again, I stand 100% by my patch libraries. And if you buy something from me you're not happy with, you can ask for a refund. So many sites I see, oh, if you've downloaded it, nope, sorry, you've downloaded it, you can't get your money back. And, you know, I know what I sell, and I'm proud of what I sell. I'm proud of the people that I represent. Tim Dale, who's here, Fred Nongot, that's here. All these guys, they put their heart and soul into their patches and to their work, and I stand behind their work 100%. Money back guarantee anytime if you're not happy. And I'll tell you, since 2009, I think I've given money back 10 times, maybe something like that. It's a crazy low number of times I have had people say, this doesn't work for me. Can I get my money back? Very, very, very rarely, like so rarely. So I have no problem saying I 100% money back guarantee on everything we sell. Because I wouldn't sell it if I didn't believe it in the first place. So, okay. Yeah, thank you, Taylor. I'll see Taylor shortly. I feel like I'm in church. Let's see. Let's see. All together now. Amen. All right. Thank you for joining for another weekly live stream. We do this every Saturday. Hit the hearts, hit the subscribe button if you would like to be a cool person that follows what we do. Oh, shout outs. Let's do our shout outs. We got Norway. You guys are already on it. I love it. You guys are so well tuned to, you know, oh, come to the end. Got to do our shout out. So you start typing away. I love it. It's great. Oh my gosh. Ireland. Hi, Sonus. Yay. I want to go to Ireland. I also do photography. This camera is my Sony A7 III. And we love to go take pretty pictures all over the world. So at some point, I want to come to Ireland. Australia. I'm coming to Australia at some point too. That's Colorado. I wish I was in Colorado right now in the Telluride area taking pictures of the fall color. I have friends that have been there and posting all their beautiful photos. Isn't it cool? We're all together. France, Spain, Pierre in Spain. Yay! Hello. Merci. London. I mean, everywhere. I get goose pimples every time I do the shout outs at the end, just to realize you are all around the world and we're all connected. Just loving sound, loving synthesis, you know? Isn't it cool? If on my buddy Lab West, Big E, brother, right on. New York City, EU, Kasaka-san in Japan. Arigato gozaimashita. Domo arigato. Domo. Yeah, look at that. We're everywhere. Everywhere, all connected, all loving things together, all together. I wish the rest of the world could be like this. I really do. Okay, well, be well, be creative. If you need inspiring patches, there's that link for $10. I'll tell you right now, it's, hold on. I have to double check at my website because I think I know the promo code, but I would probably say it wrong. But if you want to save $10, buy yourself a library today. I appreciate that very much. And let me tell you the promo code that will save you $10. It is, what's it? $10 off. All large caps. So, Oh, wait. No, that's no, it's not that one. No. Save. Where's it at? Where? Oh my gosh. Let's go over here. And you're going to be mean to me, aren't you? Are you? No? Okay, campaigns, all campaigns. I'll tell you oh my gosh. View the email. So it is $10 off. $10 off is active right now, so you can use it. It's just simply 10 BUCKSOFF, small caps. And that will save you $10 through the weekend. All right. Brew Nation, globally relevant. That's awesome. All right. Well, thank you to you all. I appreciate each and every one of you, and have a great week. And we'll continue our hijinks and see you next week. Okay. So be well, be creative. Bye. See you later.